Motorcycles come in way more varieties than most people realize. From lightweight dirt bikes to massive touring machines, each type exists for a specific reason and attracts a completely different kind of rider. Today, we're breaking down every major motorcycle category, where they came from, and what makes each one unique. Let's get into it. Number 12. Standard bikes. Standard motorcycles, also called naked bikes, are exactly what they sound like. The baseline. The default setting. These bikes have no fairings covering the engine, no windshield, and no unnecessary bodywork. Just an engine, handlebars, a seat, and two wheels. The term naked bike didn't become popular until the 1990s, but the concept goes back to the very beginning of motorcycling. Early motorcycles in the early 1900s were all essentially standard bikes because manufacturers hadn't yet figured out aerodynamics or specialized designs. Everything was exposed and upright. What defines a standard bike today is the riding position. Your feet sit directly below you, handlebars are positioned at a natural height, and your torso stays upright. This neutral ergonomics makes them incredibly versatile. The Yamaha MT-07 and MT-9 are perfect examples, along with the Kawasaki Z600, 50 starting around $7,500, and the Triumph Trident 660 at about $9,000. Standard bikes work for everything from daily commuting to weekend rides. They're forgiving for new riders and practical for experienced ones. The downside is they don't excel at any one thing. No wind protection for highway speeds, no aggressive performance focus, just solid all-around capability. Engine sizes range from 125cc beginner bikes all the way up to 1000cc monsters. Number 11. Sport bikes. Sport bikes exist for one reason only: speed. Everything about their design prioritizes going fast, cornering hard, and stopping even harder. If standard bikes are the t-shirt and jeans of motorcycling, sport bikes are full racing suits. The sport bike, as we know it, emerged in the 1980s with bikes like the 1984 Kawasaki Ninja 900. Before that, performance motorcycles were more like cafe racers or stripped-down road bikes. But the Ninja introduced something new: full fairings for aerodynamics, an aggressive forward-leaning riding position, and technology borrowed directly from racing. Modern sport bikes put riders in an extreme crouch. Clip-on handlebars mounted below the triple clamp, weir-set foot pegs, and a nose-down stance that cuts through wind but destroys your wrists on long rides. The Yamaha YZF-R1 produces 198 horsepower. The Honda CBR 1000 RRR Fireblade SP makes 214 horsepower. The Ducati Panigale V4 pumps out 210 horsepower. These machines hit 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. Prices start around $12,000 for middleweights like the Yamaha YZF-R7 and climb past $30,000 for flagship leader bikes with racing electronics. Sport bikes are track day weapons that happen to be street legal. They're uncomfortable for daily riding, expensive to insure, and thirsty for premium fuel. But if you want the closest thing to a MotoGP bike you can legally own, this is it. Number 10. Cruisers. Cruisers represent the complete opposite philosophy from sport bikes. These motorcycles are about style, comfort, and that deep V-twin rumble. Low seat heights, feet-forward riding positions, and classic American aesthetics define the category. The cruiser concept traces back to the 1930s with bikes like the 1936 Harley-Davidson EL, better known as the Knucklehead. With its distinctive rocker covers that looked like knuckles, it established the template: big V-twin engine, low-slung stance, and enough chrome to blind oncoming traffic. Indian Motorcycle was building similar bikes at the same time with their chief models. What makes a cruiser distinct is the engine configuration and riding position. Most use large V-twin engines tuned for low-end torque rather than high RPM screaming. This means strong pulls from a stoplight without constantly shifting. You sit back almost like a recliner with feet out in front. Today, Harley-Davidson dominates with models like the Sportster S at around $15,000 featuring a 121 horsepower Revolution Max engine. Indian Motorcycle offers the Scout starting around $12,000 and the larger Chief. Japanese manufacturers like Honda with the Rebel 500, Yamaha with the V-Star series, and Kawasaki's Vulcan lineup offer more affordable options starting around $6,000 to $8,000. Cruisers work great for relaxed weekend rides and local cruising. They're comfortable at moderate speeds and have strong visual presence. The downsides are weight, often 500 to 700 pounds, limited ground clearance that scrapes in corners, and without a windshield, highway riding gets tiring. But for riders who value style and that V-twin sound, nothing else compares. Before we continue, if you're finding this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more motorcycle content. Alright, back to it. Number 9. Touring bikes. Touring motorcycles are built for covering massive distances in maximum comfort. These are the luxury sedans of the two-wheeled world, loaded with features designed to make 500-mile days feel manageable. The touring bike concept started gaining traction in the 1970s. Before that, riders who wanted to tour long distances just added saddlebags and windshields to whatever bike they owned. But in 1975, Honda released the Goldwing GL1000. It featured a smooth 1000cc flat-4 engine, shaft drive for low maintenance, and a design focused entirely on comfort rather than performance. The Goldwing evolved over decades into the ultimate touring machine. The current model uses a massive 1,833 C6-cylinder engine and weighs close to 800 pounds fully loaded. It comes with GPS navigation, heated grips and seats, cruise control, advanced audio systems, and even Apple CarPlay. It's basically a luxury car on two wheels. Harley-Davidson's Road Glide and Street Glide represent American touring with their Batwing fairings and big twin engines. BMW's Case 1600 Grand America and the Indian Roadmaster sit at the premium end with prices starting around $28,000 to $30,000. Touring bikes excel at eating highway miles with massive fuel tanks holding 5 to 6 gallons or more, integrated hard luggage, full weather protection, and seating comfortable enough for both rider and passenger. The obvious trade-off is weight. We're talking 700 to 900 pounds, which makes parking lots challenging and city riding exhausting. They're also expensive to buy and maintain. But for cross-country trips, nothing delivers like a purpose-built touring bike. Number 8. Adventure bikes. Adventure bikes, also called ADV bikes or dual sport motorcycles, are designed to handle both paved roads and off-road terrain. Think of them as the SUVs of motorcycling, capable of going anywhere. The adventure bike category exploded in popularity after the 1980 Paris-Dakar Rally. That brutal desert race inspired manufacturers to build street-legal motorcycles with serious off-road capability. In 1980, BMW released the R80 GS, widely considered the first true adventure bike. It combined a large displacement engine with long travel suspension, spoke wheels, and an upright riding position. Modern adventure bikes follow that same formula. Long travel suspension providing 7 to 9 inches of movement, tall seat heights often 33 to 35 inches off the ground, spoke wheels with a 21-inch front for off-road traction, and rugged protection like engine guards and skid plates. The category ranges dramatically in size. The Royal Enfield Himalayan 450 starts around $5,300 with a 40-horsepower single-cylinder engine, perfect for beginners. The Honda CRF 300L Rally at about $6,000 offers lightweight dirt bike capability. Mid-size options include the Yamaha Tenere 700, the KTM 890 Adventure R at around $15,000 with 105 horsepower, and the Triumph Tiger 900 starting at $14,995. At the heavyweight end, the BMW R1300 GS remains the adventure bike king. It features a 1300cc engine producing 145 horsepower and starts around $19,000. The Honda Africa Twin with its 1083cc parallel twin starts at $14,799. Even Harley-Davidson entered the segment with the Pan America 1250, bringing 150 horsepower at around $18,000. Adventure bikes offer incredible versatility. They handle dirt roads, gravel, and light trails while remaining comfortable on highways. Excellent visibility from the upright position, large fuel tanks for extended range, and serious luggage capacity make them perfect for long-distance adventure riding. The downsides are tall seat heights that intimidate shorter riders, heavy weight especially on big ADVs, and higher prices than standard bikes with similar engines. Number 7. Dirt bikes. Dirt bikes are purpose-built machines for off-road riding only. These bikes lack headlights, mirrors, and turn signals, making them illegal for street use. They're designed exclusively for trails, motocross tracks, and off-road racing. The dirt bike concept emerged in the 1960s when riders started modifying street bikes for off-road use. Early scrambles racing and motocross events in Europe and America created demand for specialized machines. In 1968, Yamaha introduced the DT1, one of the first purpose-built enduro bikes that could handle serious trails. It weighed just 250 pounds and featured a 250cc two-stroke engine. Modern dirt bikes push the lightweight concept even further. Most weigh between 200 and 250 pounds, making them incredibly nimble. They feature extremely tall seat heights for ground clearance, knobby tires for traction in dirt and mud, long travel suspension to absorb jumps in rough terrain, and either two-stroke or four-stroke single-cylinder engines. Popular models include the Honda CRF 450R for motocross, the Yamaha YZ250F, the KTM 350EXC-F for enduro riding, and Kawasaki's KX series. Prices range from around $4,000 for entry-level youth models to $10,000 for professional-grade bikes. Dirt bikes excel at off-road performance with incredible suspension travel, nimble handling on trails, and powerful engines for their weight. They're perfect for motocross racing, trail riding, and enduro events. The obvious limitation is you need a truck or trailer to transport them since they're not street legal. They're also uncomfortable for anything except off-road riding and require frequent maintenance, especially for racing. Number 6. Sport touring bikes. Sport touring bikes blend the performance of sport bikes with the comfort and practicality of touring bikes. They're designed for riders who want to carve canyon roads aggressively, but also cover long distances without arriving as a pretzel. The sport touring category emerged in the 1990s as manufacturers realized there was a market between full touring bikes and pure sport bikes. The 1993 Kawasaki Concours set the template with a powerful inline-four engine, full fairings for wind protection, integrated luggage, but also enough performance to keep things interesting on twisty roads. Modern sport tourers feature more upright riding positions than pure sport bikes, integrated or detachable luggage, larger fuel tanks, full fairings for wind protection, and powerful engines tuned for both performance and smooth highway cruising. The Yamaha FJR 1300 ES remains a segment icon. The Kawasaki Concours 14 continues strong. BMW's K1600 GT starting around $24,000 brings six-cylinder smoothness, and the Ducati Multistrada V4 blurs the line between sport touring and adventure bikes. The Honda NT101 offers an affordable entry point around $12,000. Sport tours offer versatility for both spirited riding and long tours, better ergonomics than pure sport bikes, enough performance for aggressive riding when you want it, and integrated touring features without the massive weight of full tours. They're perfect for riders who want one bike that does everything well. People who enjoy spirited weekend rides, but also take longer trips, and anyone who values balance between performance and comfort. Number 5. Baggers. Baggers are essentially cruisers with integrated hard saddlebags and often a front fairing. They originated from the touring cruiser segment but have evolved into their own distinct category, especially with the rise of performance baggers. The bagger concept started in the 1960s when Harley-Davidson riders began adding saddlebags and fairings to their cruisers for longer trips. By 1969, Harley introduced the Electra Glide, combining the touring capability with cruiser style. The large batwing fairing and hard-mounted saddlebags created a look that became iconic. These bikes combine classic cruiser aesthetic with touring practicality. They typically feature large V-twin engines, hard-mounted saddlebags integrated into the design, often a batwing or similar fairing, comfortable riding position, and increasingly high-performance components. Harley-Davidson essentially owns this category with bikes like the Street Glide starting around $22,000 and the Road Glide. Indian's Challenger and Springfield Dark Horse offer serious competition. Recently, performance baggers have exploded in popularity. Bikes like the Indian Challenger push over 120 horsepower and feature upgraded suspension and brakes designed for actual aggressive riding. There are even bagger racing series now where these 700-pound cruisers lap road courses competitively. Baggers offer cruiser style and sound with actual storage capacity, more comfortable riding position than basic cruisers, wind protection from the fairing, and the ability to take longer trips without strapping gear everywhere. They're heavier than standard cruisers, usually 700 to 850 pounds, and expensive, typically $20,000 to $35,000. But for riders who want cruiser style with touring ability, they're the perfect compromise. Number 4. Cafe racers and scramblers. Cafe racers and scramblers are retro-styled bikes inspired by motorcycles from the 1960s and 1970s. Both categories have fascinating origins rooted in British motorcycle culture. Cafe racers emerged in 1960s London when young riders modified their bikes for speed runs between cafes. The term cafe racer comes from racing from one transport cafe to another, often trying to complete the run before a jukebox record finished playing. Riders stripped unnecessary weight, added low clip-on handlebars, and created the distinctive hunched-forward riding position. Scramblers came from the same era but different purpose. British riders in the 1960s modified street bikes for off-road scrambles races by adding high-mounted exhausts, knobby tires, and upright handlebars. The Triumph Bonneville was a popular base for these modifications. Modern cafe racers feature low, narrow handlebars, often clip-ons, a rear-set riding position, minimalist styling with little bodywork, usually a solo or small dual seat, and retro aesthetic with modern reliability. Popular examples include the Triumph Thruxton at around $13,000, the Royal Enfield Continental GT 6 Heavy starting at just $6,000, and the Honda CB6HIP5 Rear, scramblers like the Triumph Scrambler 900, the Ducati Scrambler Icon starting around $10,000, and the BMW R9T Scrambler feature high-mounted exhausts, some off-road capability, upright handlebars, and that classic Scrambler look. These bikes appeal to riders who prioritize style and character, people who love vintage aesthetics but want modern reliability, and urban riders who want something unique. They're typically lightweight and fun to ride. The downside is they sacrifice comfort for style and aren't particularly practical for touring. But if you want a bike with character that stands out, these deliver. Number 3. Electric motorcycles. Electric motorcycles represent the newest category, offering instant torque, zero emissions, and incredibly low operating costs. While still a small percentage of the market, they're rapidly becoming viable alternatives to gas bikes. The first electric motorcycle appeared way back in 1911 when Charles F. Kettering experimented with electric power. But serious development didn't begin until the 2000s with companies like Zero Motorcycles founded in 2006. The real breakthrough came in 2019 when Harley-Davidson, the most traditional motorcycle company, released the Livewire, proving electric motorcycles could deliver serious performance. The category now ranges from small city bikes to high-performance machines. The Harley-Davidson Livewire and Livewire Del Mar offer serious performance with the Livewire 1 starting around $17,000. Zero Motorcycles offers a full range including the SRF Naked Bike and DS Dual Sport with prices from $11,000 to $20,000. Energica produces high-performance electric sport bikes. Electric bikes provide instant torque with thrilling acceleration, virtually no maintenance, with no oil changes, chain adjustments, or valve services, silent operation, and very low operating costs per mile. The challenges are range, typically 80 to 150 miles in real world depending on riding style. Charging infrastructure still limited compared to gas stations, higher upfront costs, and battery degradation over time. But for urban commuting and riders with short daily ranges, they're increasingly practical. Number 2. Supermoto. Supermotos take dirt bike chassis and components but add street tires and upgrade the brakes. The result is an incredibly nimble, playful motorcycle that excels at urban riding and hooligan behavior. The Supermoto concept started in the late 1970s with a French television show called Superbikers. The show created a racing format combining road racing, motocross, and flat track by setting up courses using all three surfaces. Riders needed bikes that could handle pavement and dirt, so they started modifying dirt bikes with street tires and better brakes. The format became wildly popular in Europe and eventually made its way to production motorcycles. By the 2000s, manufacturers like KTM and Husqvarna were building street-legal supermotos from the factory. These bikes are typically lightweight under 300 pounds, have tall suspension from their dirt bike origins, use 17-inch wheels with street tires, feature powerful brakes, and practically beg you to wheelie. Examples include the KTM 690 SMCR, the Husqvarna 7.1 Supermoto producing 74 horsepower at around $12,000, and the Suzuki DRZ 400 SM Now. Supermotos are incredibly fun for urban riding, excel at tight corners and parking lot maneuvers, are lightweight and easy to handle, and encourage playful riding. They're perfect for riders who want maximum fun factor, urban commuters who enjoy spirited riding, and people who like off-road capability, but mostly ride streets. The downsides are, they're uncomfortable for highway riding due to tall seating and lack of wind protection, limited long-distance capability, and small fuel tanks. But for pure urban fun, few bikes match a Supermoto. Number 1. Choppers and Bobbers. Choppers and bobbers are custom-style motorcycles focused on minimalism and aesthetic. Both styles emerged from American motorcycle culture in different eras but share the same spirit of stripping bikes down to bare essentials. Bobbers came first in the 1940s and 1950s. Post-World War II veterans returning home started modifying Harley-Davidsons and Indian motorcycles by removing or bobbing the rear fender, stripping unnecessary parts, and creating lean minimal machines. The goal was reducing weight for racing and creating a raw mechanical aesthetic. Choppers emerged in the 1960s, heavily influenced by California custom culture. Builders started chopping or cutting the frame, extending front forks sometimes dramatically, raking the front end, and creating that distinctive stretched look. The 1969 film Easy Rider, featuring Peter Fonda's Captain America chopper, brought the style into mainstream consciousness. Classic choppers are more custom builds than production bikes, though some manufacturers offer chopper-influenced models. The extreme rake and long forks make handling challenging, especially at low speeds. Bobbers proved more practical for production. The Indian Scout Bobber starts around $12,000, the Harley-Davidson Street Bob, the Triumph Bonneville Bobber at approximately $12,000, and the Honda Rebel 500 Bobber style at just $6,800 offer that minimalist aesthetic without the handling compromises of extreme choppers. These bikes appeal to riders who prioritize style and customization, people who want that classic custom look, and riders who appreciate minimalism. They're typically comfortable at moderate speeds and have strong visual impact. The limitations are choppers can be genuinely difficult to ride with limited steering due to rake angle and compromised handling. Bobbers are more practical but still sacrifice comfort and features for style. So there you have it, every major type of motorcycle explained. The best type for you depends entirely on what you actually plan to do with it. Figure out what kind of riding you'll do most. Be honest about your skill level and pick what fits. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.